This is a brand new NS1 from US bike brand Ventum Racing. So in this video, we are going to review it. I've been riding it for the last month, so I'll tell you how it performs and handles and talk about some comparisons with other bikes in the category, go through a specification, cool features, the price, and much more. So I'm David, you're watching Just Ride Bikes. Let's dive in. So Ventum, if you're not aware of them, is a US bike brand and they sell direct. And selling direct means good value for money. They pass a discount onto the customer. The bike I have here with a SRAM Force 2x group set starts at $5,999, but I have the optional $900 Zip 303S wheel upgrade. And to put that price into perspective, a specialized Tarmac SL7 with the same SRAM Force group set and their own Roval deep section wheels will set you back $9,000 just for specialized on a down tube. The company has an online configurator so you can customize and upgrade the bikes, go for better wheels, add a power meter, and even the handlebar width. And that's something that even bigger bike brands don't offer. So the NS1, as you can see, is an aero race bike. And yes, it looks familiar to many other aero bikes in the market. And that's because they're all chasing the same goal and constrained by the same parameters. So it's no wonder they all look similar. And on the scales, it lives up to that lightweight claim. This bike here, a 56 centimeter with no pedals, weighs 7.7 kilos. Now that isn't super lightweight, but we have a mid-range group set and reasonably entry-level wheels and 30mm wide tyres, and it's lighter than other bikes I've tested in this sort of price range and specification. And the weight, as we'll find later when we go for a ride, doesn't really hold it back at all. The frame has been UCI approved. There's a sticker on the down tube to show it, so you can, if you want, go racing on a brand new bike. But away from racing, one of my favorite features is a space for 35mm wide tyres. These are 30mm wide tyres and there's loads of clearance between the rubber and the frame. And for a lightweight aero race bike that have such massive tyre clearance is a real bonus in my book. It means you can go racing with 25 or 28, or use a 32, 34 or a 35 for endurance riding. Another big change to the new NS1 is the T47 bottom bracket. So a real nod towards making this a bike that's easy to maintain and easy to live with for the home mechanic. The company specs a bike with its own one-piece carbon fiber handlebar and stem, with a nice simple round steering tube, so no funky shaped steering tube here. You get these spacers to adjust the stack height as well. And because the bike arrived in a box, some assembly was required, but putting the handlebar and stem onto the bike was no fuss at all. Another nice detail is you get a decent out front mount included as well, and that's something that is an afterthought for some bike brands that cost a lot more money. That Trek Madone, as an example, had a very flimsy computer mount, but this one is very stable and works a treat. Right, let's see what this bike is all about on my favourite roads and routes on which I've been riding it for the past month. And we'll talk about descending, climbing, comfort, handling, but first, speed. What you really want to know is how fast this bike is and how it compares to Tarmac SL7. I'm using power, heart rate, GPS and Strava and benchmarking it against other bikes I have ridden on these same roads, and using all my experience of 20 years of testing bikes to get a real feel and understanding for how a bike performs. And yes, clearly it's fast, even with me on it and my level of fitness right now. But is it as fast, or faster even, than a Tarmac SL7? Well, truthfully, only a wind tunnel comparison test between the two bikes will answer that for sure. But away from the wind tunnel, out here on the open road with all its variables that we have to deal with, like the wind today, it feels fast. It's giving me that sensation of speed that I come to expect from an aero race bike like this.
What I really like about the NS1 is how it's an easy bike to ride. The handling is very relaxed through the corners and it's more refined than some aero bikes that can be a bit crashy on rough road surfaces. The NS1 isn't at all edgy, and that makes it easy to live with on a long ride. What the NS1 does lack though is the sharpness of a Tarmac or Super 6 Evo. It doesn't have the same level of snappiness. It doesn't feel as urgent when you get on the gas, start pedaling really hard, sprinting for the top of a climb or a town sign. You could probably change to a narrow tyre, but I love the comfort and grip the wide tyres provide.
Comfort and aero haven't usually been two words that go hand in hand, but that's no longer the case. And this NS1 is impressively smooth on my local rough roads. The way it deals with a crappy, broken tarmac road is seriously impressive. It really mutes all the vibrations that come through the handlebar and saddle and lead to a jittery, jarring ride. These wide tyres help, of course, and you can go even wider for even more comfort. But to be honest, these 30mm wide tyres feel just wide enough. Nice load pressures, so 55 psi front and rear for my body weight. They feel fantastic. So to have a modern aero race bike with wide tyre clearance and plenty of comfort, for those of us who want all the speed and handling and responsiveness of an aero race bike but aren't racing, we're not pinning numbers to our jerseys, we're going out for rides, fast, long, short, and we want that sensation of speed.
Aero bikes in the past used to be heavy, but at 7.7 kilos, this one is a decent fighting weight. This is one of my local testing hills. It's long enough to give me a hard workout and get my heart rate up, and with a few changes in gradient, it really tests the bike and my legs. And on this road, on the climb, the bike feels good. Out of the saddle, the frame is clearly stiff and the handlebar isn't flexing underneath me. The only reason for my lack of PBs or KOMs while testing the NS1 is my lack of form. Aero bikes aren't just fast on the flat roads, they're also fast going downhill too. And it's in high speed situations with windy, gusty conditions that aero bikes can, in my experience, feel very unstable. Right now though, I'm hitting nearly 80 km/h at the bottom of this descent with ease, and the bike feels planted. Not a hint of speed wobble at all. Very, very good in fact.
In the month I've been riding the bike, it's been reliable. I've had no maintenance issues at all from the cable routing or any other parts of the bike. It's just been a real pleasure to live with and ride on a regular basis. The only thing I have changed are the tyres. The bike came with some IRC tyres in a 30mm width, and I felt the bike wasn't quite giving me its full performance. It felt like it'd been held back. So I swapped the tyres to these new panel racers, which I have been trying on my giant TCR for the last few months and been really impressed with them. And swapping the tyres really helped to unleash the extra potential of the bike. Those IRC tyres really held it back and show how important and how big a difference a tyre can make to a bike. And it's just a really sensible, no nonsense, no brainer bike really. It doesn't have the branding and kudos of a Specialized or a Trek or Cannondale perhaps, but the value for money is amazing. You can customize the bike to your liking and it just works really well. There's nothing odd or quirky about the bike, all very sensible. I like all the details on it, from the cable routing to the bottom bracket and the wide tyre clearance, which makes it an easy bike to recommend really. So that is the brand new NS1 from Ventum Racing. Definitely a bike to put on your shortlist this year, or just go out and buy it. The value for money is fantastic and really stands out well compared to other bikes in this category. And if you want to see a roundup of the best aero bikes currently available this year, do check this video right up here. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon.